wasn't going to record this here. I was going to do it at home. I was thinking just now to record it later on when I got back home. But here at the Newcastle Racecourse here, Arctic 64, and again, yes, another racecourse. And I thought I'd just do it at home, and I was doing for a bit of free space, not in a madman talking to me camera. I see turned around and thought, there's some free space here. I'm standing near the whale at Newcastle Racecourse. If I could actually try and... You do realise actually, just to show it the other way around actually, so it's quite near the winning post just up there. I'm standing. Decided, so this is a good, over the final meeting, Good Friday at Newcastle. Decided to just get a cheaper sort of grandstand for a Premier ticket. They couldn't be bothered to spend the money. As I said, I was actually at this meeting, I think 4 years ago, when it was at Lingfield, not realising I'm going to shift it to Newcastle, and I live in Newcastle. It's damn too easy from here, because it took me just over an hour 10. Put too much weight on, and actually I thought it took long to walk here from my house, and it did, and it wasn't quite so bad in the end. So you're saving up before the first race. Well, as surprisingly, quite busy. In one of my earlier videos, I don't think I actually put it on the internet yet, I stated that I was a bit sceptical about Good Friday racing because what happened at Lingfield was at that meeting. The only time I ever really felt a couple of race meeting. I did also say there's another occasion at Lingfield as well. Well, I thought the fight was going to take place near to me, but it was some idiot trying to put something, £20 note in my back pocket, and a young lad, and one of his young women was with him, saying to him, sorry to me, so he couldn't hear, basically with I'm sorry, he's an idiot. Clearly he was embarrassed by his act. Well, he's out of it completely, frankly, and it's quite embarrassing. Well, she was embarrassed for him anyway, and I just thought, what's going on? I don't need this. It was raining, and I had to put him in my back pocket. Being an idiot with £20 note, back pocket. And I said, well, I'm a bit sceptical of Friday racing, more for not religious grounds, more piss out and cocoa grounds. Forgetting, I've been to this meeting before in Newcastle, we're not winners over the finals meeting a few years ago, went to the Good Friday meeting, and it's a bit boisterous, a bit loud, but it's okay, it's not a problem. The problem is not that. The problem is the grandstand. You cannot see, because there's a bleeding fun fair here, and I don't have a problem with families coming and having a fun fair, but it's blocking them straight off. The view, and you're going to see about a final furlong from the grandstand, and in the end I've gone down towards the whale to watch the racing, I could see about more than the final furlong at least from there, and I very rarely watch it racing from there, and maybe you need to do it more often, because it's interesting to watch the racing quite near to where the horses are coming through, running down in. But but you can't see it again, messing about, we're in the racing from the arc, cocking things up. Have a fun fair, fine, but just try and plan it and realise that you're blocking off everything by a final furlong will help straight. And especially with a lot of in a sort of flat meeting, all the first 5 races on straight course, and it's a real problem actually seeing anything. And so last 2 races are longer distance, 2 mile and a mile quarter, and I go back to grandstand and see a bit more of the meet thing from there. It's an absolute pain. One comment I make is out of this video, and I sent an email to Windsor Racecourse complaining. I had said in the last videos last year, and I was all going to complain about this, the Jockey Club to win a racing coming to Newcastle Racecourse, about demanding photo ID last year and then not enforcing it. I mean, I don't know why he had photo ID in the first place, really. I only have a passport, not a driving licence because of disability. So I only have a passport, so it's a real pain for me. I had to have a passport with me. And of course, being a racing company wouldn't actually have demanding it. You know, the Jockey Club was probably just a complete pain not to catch it, but it's independent course also demanding it. And it was ridiculous. And in the end, I said I was going to complain, especially Windsor, where over 20 odd, just over 20, 23, 24 race courses I went to last year, and that's not race meetings, just separate race courses in fact. The only one was so disorganised they couldn't get people in before the first race in a reasonable amount of time. And this first race was Windsor. And I was furious. I had a few drinks. I wanted 1 red and 3 pints for a race meeting, only once or 2 times. But that wasn't why I couldn't get in. I had more than enough time. And you can't got here and I got in quite quickly in a busy meeting. It wasn't even Wednesday busy even in Windsor that day. It was just an embarrassment really, I couldn't sort it out. But what's happened at Windsor is worse, in a way. I know I've asked a bit about this on an article on the Racecourse website, Well, was written by a bookmaker in effect. Well, not quite written by a book, but complaining about Windsor new pricing policy and two enclosures. The one's £35, one's £18. So Premier ticket 35, obviously grandstand 18, fine, no problem with that. But the £18 ticket you cannot now. There's a new two enclosure set up. Get to the parade ring or the Windsor enclosure. That's ludicrous, and I'm sending email to Windsor complaining about that. And in fact, there's a lot of likes about this a lot of likes, and I've got a few retweets as well, above a few hundred likes. I hadn't realised it was like this, because some of these Twitter applications weren't saying how many people were commenting on it. So I've got a few comments as well. But what are you doing? I'm not paying £35 unless I have to, or a ticket just to see racehorses. I mean, you're basically saying, want to see horses, in effect pay £35, and it's an outrage. I think Windsor have issues where another Arena Racing Company course, I said Windsor Arena Racing Company course, I seem to think we're a music venue almost. I went to Hill Station, I can't remember which Windsor's only group race was. Windsor used to be a dual national flat course until just over 20 years ago. Well, it wasn't a Arena Racing Company course, but changed at that point to not being a jump course. Can't be Windsor for that. They were a donor at that point. But they changed for that change to being. There's a couple of things. And I had a meeting because due to ascots in effect. There's a couple of them, but that's it. That was about a few years ago now. We had them. No, I'd not seen to see it come back again. It was quite a course specialist race course for Windsor for that sort of thing. But as I was saying, the only group race I did it in 2018. I don't know that many group races I've been to. As I keep saying in my videos, ad nauseum one maybe. The Libertine Chase and New Mayor's Chase Town Festival is the only group race or graded race I've not been to in Britain. And I've gone through quite a lot by now, but then in 2018 I think, well, I want to get to this at some point. But I just had the music concert on the end of it. I think a well-known person or something, I've noticed that was in the first years. And I thought, I don't need this, that's 40 quid, it's over 40 quid. And it's basically a little bit of a cost being because of a minimum cost again. It was because of the music act, and I thought, I don't need this. I see net in 2019, are they going to keep having this? And they did. Again, it's more expensive. It should have been thought, just do it, I pay, get to this good race. And stayed overnight. And there's also one about 6 left good races I hadn't seen, Grey Doris hadn't seen, and was one in Goodwood the next day. So I just stayed overnight at Windsor and went to Goodwood the next day. But it's just farcical. Windsor know all customers. I actually put in my letter, I put it here. I said I did an MA 20 years ago. And one of the lecturers, one of the modules was saying about receiving a letter saying about Northern Rock. They were not one customers. This is now 8 years before Northern Rock went, or 7 years before Northern Rock went tits up basically. And they said that I lived in Devon most of my life. I remember Northern Rock closed my branch, and that's why I stopped banking with them. And well, ended up because I had a student account with Barclays as well, and I was a student in Hull for 4 years. Barclays now closed my branch down in Jesmond as well, mind you. But that's a lot. But if you closed the local branch down, so I didn't bank with them. So I still have the account actually, it was now Virgin, but I just don't use it. And this is the point. Are Windsor going to actually have enough support to do this? Are the public going to like it? I think now it's a disaster. Another one I'm going to make is about air. Just last year, I said I was in love with air. Well, I wasn't sure who I was in love with. It's Air Racecourse, the BHA, Weatherby's or Bettrends, who were selling Bettrends were the ones who were selling, apart from Weatherby's. The BHAs, so I mentioned all three organisations, listed them group pattern races on a flat. And in it, it's a Doonside Cup, and Air was on the Thursday of the Air Gold Cup meeting. Bought a ticket to Air Racecourse, haven't yet got around to getting cheap train tickets. They get cheap ground test tickets to Air from Newcastle, when anyone can. Via Carlisle on a slow train from Carlisle to Air, via Kilmarnock. And it's, or is it Motherwell? I think it might be via Motherwell, that one. Anyway, it's £3 from Newcastle to Carlisle round ticket, and then back again about 10 quid, 9 quid from Carlisle to Air. Very cheap. But they got this ticket, and then suddenly found out the Doomsday Cup was on a Saturday. I mean, it was booked in for Thursday. I was annoyed, frankly. We haven't decided because I get 2 trade tickets just to go to Ayr on Thursday and the Saturday. And I'll get a second, for a couple of games, decent meeting, mind you. I don't really mind hugely. But it did mean I wouldn't have been there on Thursday. But they all right meeting, a decent race on the day. But it wasn't why I'd have been there. It's an astronomy meeting at Newcastle I could have gone to on Thursday, and also I'd like to have gone on Wednesday to a listed John Lusker Phillies Stakes I hadn't been to before. The Yarmouth, only been to Yarmouth once, and I'd like to go again. I'd like to spot do that race. But I was the day before, and I couldn't really go Newcastle Yarmouth for train Yarmouth back to Newcastle and then Ayr the next day. I'm getting in from Yarmouth probably 2 o'clock in the morning, potentially my house. And going to Ayr from Newcastle the next day I've only got in 2 o'clock in the morning, just not sensible. They do that hopefully this year. But I had all 4 organisations about this. I got to Ayr, I contacted Veterans, BHA, whoever it be, and no one got back to me, which annoyed me. I thought I was poor, and none of them did. I thought one would. Yeah, which one, but I thought somebody would. Wasn't very impressive. They didn't know whether the book was wrong or something, or whether the data changed. And then I got an email from Weatherby, I think it was, saying, or Veterans, I don't know who it was, saying, by the way, your new book's out this year, you bought it last year. And I thought, well, this time, right, I'm going to ask contact BHA and ask, what's going on? This time I will contact BHA and ask them, why are you, what happened about this? And the BHA, surprisingly, did get back. No one got back. The actual race planning got back to me in an email. They said you passed on to them. And I was surprised really, because they were quite a senior person in BHA, I would have thought. And I said, hey, that's the change. No, it's fine. I did complain. I said they wanted to, after the book come out in March, Ayr for the September meeting wanted it changed from Thursday to Saturday, and we BHA agreed to it. I mean, there was no reason I'm not to, and I think that's fair enough. But that's really poor from Ayr. I have to email there, could I change the race ticket back in September from the meeting saying, well, this has changed, can you tell? And they didn't get back to me, and now realising, and I'm quite angry about it, is they changed it. And I emailed them again on their form on their website asking, what's this week, this year? What's going on? It's your responsibility. I'm not happy what you did. And they're still not going back to me. Now, I could say, my email address, it sometimes doesn't pick emails up, and not very rarely, but sometimes doesn't get emails that it should get. I'm thinking of going to Ayr later in the year. I might have done under normal circumstances. All right, meeting. That 80 grand can win away, it's nothing huge, but because they get 2 train tickets to Ayr, it might be worth doing. But I'm going to email Ayr and say, put them again and say, right, either explain what's going on here, why didn't you come out to you first time? I'm just not going to turn up, and it's only from one person, so I may just ignore it. But I'm angry with Ayr actually about this. I said before, Ayr are a bit up themselves, frankly. I said this in a previous video. They say we only grade Group 1 Humboldt is race across Scotland, and there's no better race than Kelso. To grade the races over jumps, the Scottish Champions Hurdle and the future Novice Chasers race. But Kelso of the Premier Hurdle, that's also a grade 2. Of course, the Gold Cup, but. And I also stated actually the Atlantic Bell was appalling, especially the former chief executive. There's argument of whether Atlantic Bell, when we started the trophy, whether it went to Ayr or Hamilton. And Hamilton was much more sensible idea of being sort of Atlantic racecourse. This is about the old Atlantic racecourse and the old trophy. And there, the chief executive there at the time was appalling. Made a very snide comment against Hamilton, and I was thinking, I've never ever seen a one race course with snide comment against another one at any point in time. And that's it, and there's people in fake jockey clothes. I did once put a tweet out about this. I don't mind, so maybe I was a bit over the top.